For days, the world believed that NASA was the first institution to detect anything unusual about 3I Atlas. The official story was simple. A strange interstellar object entered the solar system. Scientists noticed irregularities, and every update came from civilian agencies. But that narrative was never complete. Because, buried beneath layers of military protocol, restricted channels, and internal communications, something else was happening in the background, something that was never meant to become public. Two military bases, operating under different branches of the armed forces, recorded anomalous readings from 3I Atlas before NASA ever issued its first public statement. Their sensors picked up strange motion, electromagnetic behavior, and a pattern of acceleration that defied known physics. At first, analysts believed it to be a sensor glitch. Then they believed it to be a foreign satellite. Then, they stopped speculating altogether. Why? Because as soon as the data packets were logged, transmitted, and reviewed by higher-level intelligence officers, the entire chain of information was locked behind classification seals. The detection logs vanished from the internal system. The analysts involved were reassigned. Even the timestamps in the monitoring software were overwritten. And the bases involved were instructed formally to pretend the detection never happened. Tonight, we reconstruct what these two bases actually recorded. We explore why the data was buried. And we reveal why the military was tracking 3I Atlas before the rest of the world even knew it existed. The first confirmed military detection of 3I Atlas came from White Sands Monitoring Station, located in New Mexico. The facility is primarily known for missile testing, electromagnetic surveillance, and high-precision radar tracking. But deep inside the complex sits the Exo-Atmospheric Monitoring Array, a system built to detect ballistic threats long before they approach U.S. airspace. On the night of the first detection, technicians noticed a faint, intermittent signal entering the system's long-range tracking window. At first, it resembled a dust fragment or an asteroid fragment, common false positives. But then the detection repeated, precisely, rhythmically, as if the object were pulsing energy into space. The radar operator, Specialist Aaron Mitchell, initially dismissed it. But after the third pulse, he realized the signal didn't degrade like natural debris, it maintained coherence. He forwarded the detection to the base's Level 2 analyst. Within minutes, a chain reaction began. The object began accelerating, not slowly, not gradually. Instantaneously, like something applying force from within itself. The system recalculated trajectory, and that's when alarms triggered. The object wasn't following a natural gravitational path. It shifted 3 distinct times, as if correcting its course. White Sands logged the event as an unidentified external object, and the data packet was automatically uploaded to the secure server used across all branches of U.S. missile defense. But before analysts could even finish the report, something unusual happened. The secure server returned a red warning banner. Data access locked, higher authority review. Mitchell had never seen that before. Even nuclear alerts didn't trigger it. There was no explanation, no code, no clearance instructions. Just locked. Then he received an internal message instructing him to stop the analysis immediately. The detection should be marked as sensor irregularity. No further logging was allowed. The next morning, the base commander issued a formal statement. Delete all non-essential radar logs from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock hours. Mitchell realized the truth. They hadn't dismissed the detection. They were hiding it. Days later, when NASA publicly announced the first official detection of 3I Atlas, Mitchell understood what had been erased. He recognized the trajectory, the speed, the behavior. The military had seen 3I Atlas first, and someone above all of them wanted the world to believe otherwise. While White Sands tracked the first anomalous behavior, the second military detection came from the Pacific Defense Array, a network of radar sites used to monitor the skies around Hawaii, Guam, and the western coastline of the United States. 3 days after White Sands logged the pulses, the Pacific Array detected a fast-moving object, bypassing the standard early warning perimeter. What made the detection alarming wasn't just the speed, it was the trajectory. The object appeared to perform a sudden angular correction, shifting direction by several degrees in a manner completely inconsistent with natural space motion. Lieutenant Celeste Moran, the analyst on duty, watched with disbelief as the object accelerated while moving away from gravitational influence. That alone should have triggered a deep space anomaly investigation. Instead, the system auto-labeled the object as a restricted zone track. This label is normally reserved for classified, U.S. black-budget aerospace tests. But Moran knew something was wrong. Black-budget craft do not travel from deep space into the solar system. She attempted to cross-reference the data with other military network nodes. Every one of them returned an error message. Track unavailable due to classification level mismatch. This had never happened in her 7 years in service. She submitted a report to her superior, and within hours, the Pacific Defense Array was contacted by an intelligence liaison she had never heard of. He instructed the officers to 1. Stop all tracking of the object. 2. Delete all data associated with the detection. 3. Submit written statements confirming the detection was a sensor malfunction. Moran refused to sign the statement. 2 days later, she was reassigned to administrative duties thousands of miles away. The next week, NASA publicly confirmed 3 IATLAS as an interstellar object of interest. Except Moran had already tracked it days earlier. She knew the military's version of the object didn't match NASA's public explanation. The motion was too deliberate. The accelerations were too controlled. And the correction maneuvers were too precise. Someone was shaping the narrative. And the Pacific Defense Array had accidentally seen the truth before they shut it down. After the data from the 2 bases was buried, a new layer of secrecy began unfolding across multiple branches of the U.S. military. Analysts who reviewed the detections noted several characteristics that made 3I Atlas extremely sensitive. 1. Non-gravitational acceleration. The object appeared to accelerate in ways that suggested internal propulsion or an energy source. This alone would instantly classify the detection as a potential strategic threat. 2. Electromagnetic emissions. Both military bases detected faint, patterned emissions that resembled communication signals rather than natural radiation. 3. Trajectory corrections objects from deep space do not correct course unless acted upon by an external force or steering mechanism. 4. Timing of detection. The object appeared to activate or change behavior only after reaching certain distances from major detection arrays, as if it were aware of being monitored. 5. International implications. If the object was artificial or controlled, it would redefine not only astrophysics, but global military strategy. The first nation to interpret or capture such data would gain an unprecedented advantage. This is why the military locked the information behind restricted classification levels. Political panic avoidance, control of narrative. Avoiding unauthorized scientific disclosure, maintaining superiority in potential contact scenarios. But the most compelling reason appeared in a leaked memo. Unverified intelligence suggests that revealing non-gravitational behavior before international verification may destabilize defense protocols. In other words, if the public or rival nations realized that something was moving through space in a manner consistent with intelligent design, global defense structures could collapse. The military needed NASA to handle the story. Civilian science could keep the public calm. And the military could continue tracking 3IA Tellus without scrutiny. But their attempt to bury the early detections created a trail of inconsistencies. And today, through eyewitness accounts, leaked fragments, and reconstructed data, the truth becomes clearer. The object wasn't just detected early. It wasn't just classified. It was controlled information from the moment the military realized what it was looking at. And the question remains, if they hid the first detection, if they silenced the analysts, if they erased the logs, what else do they know about 3IATLAS right now while we're watching from the outside?